Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the sheer scale of problems in the world? Like your efforts are just a tiny drop in a vast, indifferent ocean. It's a feeling we all get sometimes. We see global issues, community struggles, or even just the mountain of tasks on our own to-do list, and we think, what can I possibly do that would make any real difference? It's easy to feel small, insignificant, and powerless. But what if I told you that the most profound changes often start with the smallest, most seemingly insignificant actions? Today, I want to share a simple, powerful story that completely shifted my perspective on this. It's called the Starfish story, and I believe it holds a crucial lesson for every single one of us. The story begins on a vast windswept beach at dawn. The tide had just receded, leaving behind a scene of beautiful chaos. Thousands upon thousands of starfish had been washed ashore, stranded on the sand under the rising sun. From a distance, they looked like a carpet of tiny dying stars. A young person was walking along this beach, but they weren't just strolling, they were moving with a strange, rhythmic purpose. They would bend down, pick something up, and gently toss it into the waves. Bend, pick up, toss, over and over again. Not far away, an older, more cynical person was watching this scene unfold. Shaking their head with a mixture of pity and amusement, they decided to approach the young person. "Good morning," the older person called out, their voice laced with skepticism. "I've been watching you. What on earth are you doing?" The young person paused, holding a delicate starfish in their hand, and looked up with a clear, earnest expression. "I'm throwing these starfish back into the ocean," they explained simply. "The sun is getting hot, and the tide is going out. If I don't help them, they'll all perish." The older person scoffed, gesturing widely at the endless stretch of beach. "But look around you. There are thousands of starfish here. You can't possibly save them all. There are miles and miles of beach, and more starfish washing up with every wave. You can't possibly make a difference." It was a logical argument, a voice of reason cutting through the morning calm. From a purely statistical standpoint, the older person was right. The task was monumental, impossible. The effort seemed futile, a waste of energy against an unstoppable force of nature. It's the same logic that tells us not to bother recycling because corporations are the biggest polluters, or not to donate to a cause because the problem is too widespread. It's the voice of overwhelm, the voice that encourages inaction. The young person listened patiently to the older person's logical dismissal. They didn't argue. They didn't try to debate the numbers or the scale of the problem. Instead, they looked down at the single, living starfish cupped in their hand. It was a beautiful creature, its 5 arms radiating from a central point, a tiny, vulnerable life. With a gentle, deliberate motion, they arched their back and tossed the starfish far out into the cool, life-giving water. It landed with a soft splash and disappeared beneath the waves. Saved. Then, the young person turned back to the cynic, a quiet smile gracing their lips, and said, "It made a difference to that one." And with that, they bent down, picked up another starfish, and tossed it back into the sea. It made a difference to that one too. Bend, pick up, toss. Each action was a small victory, a tiny world saved. The older person stood frozen, the simple, profound truth of those words washing over them. It wasn't about saving every single starfish. It was about the one in their hand. It was about recognizing the value of a single life, a single moment of kindness, a single act of help. The story often ends there, but I like to imagine what happened next. I imagine the older person, humbled and inspired, slowly bending down, picking up their first starfish, and gently tossing it back into the ocean, and then another, and another. 2 people, making a difference, 1 starfish at a time. This story, originally adapted from a 1969 essay by Lauren Isley, called The Star Thrower, resonates so deeply because it speaks to a fundamental truth about human impact. We live in an interconnected world where we are constantly bombarded with news of large-scale problems, climate change, poverty, social injustice. The sheer volume of it all can be paralyzing. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that, if we can't solve the whole problem, there's no point in doing anything at all. The Starfish story is the perfect antidote to that paralysis. It reminds us that we don't have to change the entire world to make a world of change. We just have to start with the one in front of us. Think about it in your own life. Maybe you're a teacher with a classroom full of students, each with their own unique challenges. You can't solve all their problems outside of school, but you can offer a word of encouragement to the student who is struggling. You can take an extra 5 minutes to explain a concept to the one who feels left behind. It makes a difference to that one. Or perhaps you're a volunteer at an animal shelter. You see countless animals needing homes, and it can be heartbreaking. You can't adopt them all, but you can spend time petting a scared cat, or take an energetic dog for a long walk. You are changing the world for that one animal in that one moment. This principle applies to every aspect of our lives. A simple compliment to a cashier who looks tired, holding the door for someone with their hands full, donating a single can of food to a food drive, mentoring a junior colleague at work, listening, truly listening, to a friend who is going through a tough time. None of these actions will end global suffering. None of them will be front-page news. But to the person on the receiving end, your small act of kindness can be everything. It can be the one thing that helps them get through a difficult day. It can be the little push they need to keep going. You are making a difference to that one. What the cynic in the story failed to understand is the power of ripple effects. When you throw one starfish back, you don't just save its life, you affirm your own compassion. You inspire others who might be watching. That single act of kindness can multiply. Imagine if the older person went and told 10 other people on the beach, and 5 of them started helping. Suddenly, hundreds, then thousands of starfish are being saved. Change is rarely a single, cataclysmic event. More often, it's a collection of small, persistent actions that build momentum over time. Every major social movement in history started with a few individuals who decided to make a difference for the one next to them. So, the next time you feel that sense of overwhelm, that feeling of what's the point, I want you to remember the image of that young person on the beach. Remember the choice they made. They chose action over apathy. They chose hope over despair. They chose to focus on what they could do, not what they couldn't. We all have a beach in our lives, littered with opportunities to help. It might be in our family, our workplace, our community, or even in our online interactions, and we all have a choice. We can stand back and comment on the futility of it all, or we can bend down and pick one up. What is the starfish in front of you today? Is it a task you've been procrastinating on because it feels too big? Break it down. Do one small part of it. It makes a difference. Is it a person in your life who seems a little down? Send them a text. Ask them how they are. It makes a difference. Is it a cause you care about but feel powerless to help? Find one small thing you can do. Sign a petition, share an article, make a small donation. It all adds up. Don't let the scale of the ocean distract you from the starfish at your feet. Your journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Changing the world begins with changing one person's world, even if it's just for a moment. So I challenge you today, find your starfish. Find that one small, manageable act of kindness or effort you can perform. And when you do it, I want you to say to yourself, it made a difference to this one, because it did. And that is more than enough. That is everything. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this story resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content that aims to inspire and uplift. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments below. What's a starfish moment you've experienced, either giving or receiving help? Let's share our stories and inspire each other. Until next time, keep making a difference, one starfish at a time.